Hey everyone, welcome back to Channel Couch Co-op. We got Grim and Shapes.
Yep.
Today we're doing a little talk about E3. It's about 3 days old as the shooting of this particular video.
Yeah.
You know, we got jobs and stuff and things.
Commutes.
So unfortunately, we weren't able to kind of do a live feed or thing. So it's maybe next year sometime we could do something like that. But
yeah.
we're going to talk about our impressions on E3. You know, we'll kind of go into some things that we heard, some things that we saw, some things that we missed and wish was there. So
yeah, I mean, you know, for me, I'll put this out there real quick. I mean, for me, I'm not really a big Microsoft Xbox guy, so I'll put that out there. Yeah, I mean, I have a 360. I bailed after that, but you know, it's not that I don't like them. I just find a lot of the time the games that they do carry are games that, you know, generally they're multiplayer online games, and it's like, I'm not really an online multiplayer guy.
Right. He's a loner. Okay.
Yeah, basically. I'm a loner when it comes to video games, except for when we play together, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, so anyway, so for me, it was mostly all about Nintendo's Direct.
Right.
I mean, that's what the meat and potatoes is. We'll save that for last.
Sure.
You know, the cherry on top. Probably got more to talk about with that than anything. So
I'll just kind of roll through some impressions. You know, the noticeable of the big three that wasn't there was Sony. They have a summer video or summer thing. I don't know what it's called. There's a name for it. We'll throw it up there.
Remember, yeah.
But they have a thing. They chose not to participate too greatly of that as we have our star of the show.
Yeah, I don't know why she's looking. It could be the cleaner. I don't know.
Right. As far as that's concerned, so Xbox, you know, recently purchased a lot of development companies. One being Bethesda,
Big one.
So you know, they kind of introed with 20 years of Xbox. So since the initial release of the Xbox console, it's been 20 years. They kind of started off with a bang. There's a lot of people like buzz. We're talking about Starfield, which is the new big project, which is space oriented.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a teaser or teaser trailer that was shown.
Because it's kind of like isn't it kind of like a Destiny sort of?
I don't know.
I got the vibe. I mean, I didn't really look into it. Again, I saw like some generic articles about it, so I didn't read them. I just read the title.
You know, the interesting thing is usually when I watch E3, it's like on my laptop. I'm rewatching the showcases like a couple hours later.
Yeah.
You know, I had the opportunity to watch a couple of these live, and then I actually watched it on my 4K TV, so I could see how the graphics would kind of come across. So Starfield was very pretty. I don't know too much about it. Blow me up in the comments and tell me what the hell I'm missing.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of fans for it. There's a lot of hype on the interwebs right now.
But it's the same company that made the Skyrim and the Fallout, so that's kind of be type of that probably first person, third person RPG type of thing, a long type of game.
Oh, so it's more like Mass Effect, perhaps.
Yeah. So beyond that, you have Fallout 76 got mentioned. There's the game and then an expansion. Looks pretty interesting. I'm not a huge person in the Fallout series. I think the only one I got was
3. I think you and I bought 3 together, didn't we?
Comp USA.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So we got
I got the Lunchbox Collector's Edition for super cheap.
What else was there? There was a heavy push for Xbox Game Pass. So a lot of the games were going to be day one right on Xbox Game Pass. So the game will be free. Well, you pay for the subscription, but you'll have access to certain games.
Yeah.
So there was a large heavy push for that. A game that I was actually interested in was Back 4 Blood, which is a part of the same creators of Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Probably a jump diagonally from the series. We played that a lot in high school and college, and that would definitely a game that we'll pick up and play.
Yeah. Left 4 Dead 2 was fucking amazing. I mean, I probably played the first one more just because at the time you guys were all around and like we were able to play it. But yeah, that is a great game. Back 4 Blood looked cool.
Yeah.
You know, so hopefully it's good, just as good. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah,
it's Valve still? It's like all, or is it just the guys from Valve?
I don't remember.
Okay, we'll throw it there.
I remember specifically watching that video. You could be humans or zombies and fight against each other, which was really cool. Then we had a lot of branding changes. You know, before when it went shift from Xbox One to Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S, they just put a little tab on the bottom that says, "Oh, you can play on this system." They've changed the art on the boxes.
Yeah.
So they're trying to create that shift. Like goodbye Xbox One. It's time for the new king.
Yeah.
All hell Xbox
Dethroned.
King.
Dethroned.
There was a Battlefield 2042 where the trailer looked really good. I've never been a Battlefield fan. After like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and then maybe a couple of Cold Wars, I just got really tired of it. Like,
Same Z.
it's a quality game, but it turned into a Madden thing for me. Where every year they're creating another one.
Yeah, they
and,
are.
and it lost its appeal. So first person, third person, like military shooters isn't my bag anymore. I do play Destiny 2, and I will be playing Halo Infinite. So the more fantasy / space type of shooters I'm a little more intrigued about. So maybe even Starfield, depending on my mood and time to play video games.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else was there?
Whatever. Starlink will probably be super long.
Starfield, yeah.
Or Starfield, yeah.
Starlink was the Star Fox last game.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then there's an interesting game called 12 Minutes, and they had some pretty good voice actors. It had, who was the guy who played Professor X in the recent X-Men movies?
Patrick Stewart?
No, the new one. McAvoy.
Oh,
So,
McAvoy.
McAvoy, and then I don't remember the girl. The girl's actually popular too. So they're the voice actors. The game's called 12 Minutes, and you basically live this scenario over and over again. So it's kind of like Majora's Mask. So it's like a mystery type of thing with, I think William Dafoe was in it as a voice actor.
Oh, no shit.
So it's very unique. I think he plays a cop, which he plays a cop correct with everything. So
I just think of his triumphant, like in Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Like, there was a firefight! Anyway.
So, there's that game looked interesting. For me now, you can churn out your military games, which, mind you, I'll give it a shot if I find enough people to play with. Playing by myself, that sounds wrong, but single player or just multiplayer and just getting sniped by a little kid across the room and all that.
That's
stuff.
always my biggest gripe.
Right.
Well, and it's like for me, like I said, I know I've said it in my previous videos. I'm more of a guy. I like variety. And I'm not a guy that could just plug hours into a single game, like 100 hours into a single game. I kind of get tired of a game after 50, generally.
So, that's why, like, unique games are kind of sticking out to me, which I would give it a try. Yeah. Maybe an indie or whatever. Not to say these are indies or that type of thing. But I think they stated, like, 30 games will be Game Pass by the end of this year.
Okay.
So new titles and making Xbox more appealing. Like when you had the original debate between PS5 and Xbox Series X, it was just like, okay, Halo box, Spider-Man, and like for me, it was just I was gonna get it for Halo, and because I didn't play my PS4 at all, and I had an Xbox One as well, and I didn't play that as all. And if I had to choose one, I'd get the Xbox. And PlayStation 5 was so hard to get. I, like you saw, stumbled upon both of them, but after playing both systems, the only reason why I'm playing the Xbox Series X is Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is kind of a more incentive to keep that going. They had an interesting game called Party Animals, which looked like Fall Guys with assortment of animals and stuff. I only liked it because there was a corgi character. I actually have a corgi, and so naturally I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting, but really probably will be not that spectacular, honestly. So I'm probably not going to throw money at the game, no offense to whoever developed it. If you show me more gameplay, maybe it'll be interesting to me. If you want to send me a free copy, I'm totally down. The main piece was
direct message us.
Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite was the game. Looked spectacular. They did like intro cutscene, and they did multiplayer. And the big announcement is free multiplayer. And I think they said you could play either on the computer or the Xbox, which is interesting. Yeah. So
the passes over, I think was what they're connected or whatever.
So the jump-in point is very minimal for people who don't have an Xbox Series X but want to play a multiplayer Halo game. It definitely brought me the feels when I heard double kill, headshot and things like that. Saw a sticky, saw a sticky grenade from across the map and the hammer and the sword. So definitely something I'll be very interested in playing. And probably a day one pickup, and we'll hopefully get a chance to show you guys. Yeah. The last thing that I saw was Diablo 2. I did fast forward probably the last end of it, which I think there was a Far Cry and some other stuff. But Diablo 2 8-player multiplayer. It's a re-shell or
remake,
remaster,
I guess.
Remaster, remake.
I think it's a remake
Something.
because it's not. I don't think it's a remaster.
Right.
I think they basically rebuilt it
Yeah.
from the ground up, kind of like a la FF7
Yeah.
maybe, but because the graphics look.
Yeah.
I mean, I played Diablo 2, which was one of my favorite games
Yeah.
as a kid. It was really fun, but it was hard as shit to play by yourself.
So the interesting thing is the 8-player multiplayer co-op and that type of thing. So definitely an interesting jumping off point. If it's like something for the computer, which it's Blizzard, so there's probably an entry.
I'll probably buy that. I mean, is it only for Xbox right now?
I doubt it.
I thought
I
it was coming out for
I
others.
seriously doubt if it would only be Xbox. It would probably burn a lot of people's.
Well, and plus, supposedly Xbox's sales are far behind
Yes.
PlayStation 5 and Nintendo
Yes.
Switch right now. So.
Well, and the thing is to my knowledge, and this is all hearsay because I don't know physical numbers, Xbox Series X's are now appearing in stores. PlayStation 5 still has some time. You can catch some random stores for Switches, but usually they sell out. But a lot of people aren't buying Switches right now because they know that, we'll get into that later, the Switch.
Yeah.
It was oddly enough, I went up to the UP of Michigan and I saw 3 systems and 4 lights. And I was like, oh, this is the first time I've actually seen a Switch in the store. And that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, at least for a long time.
Yeah. So, but, a couple other things. Capcom, they said that there's going to be Resident Evil Village expansion.
Oh, yeah.
A drop. Square Enix, I heard it was very boring. No offense. Let's see. Not Bungie. I always confuse Bungie with the pink.
Is it Bethesda?
No. Is it not Bungie? It's what the Rabbids.
313? Oh, Rabbids, Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. Yeah, I always confuse Bungie and Ubisoft for whatever reason. But the new Rabbids game looked very, very interesting. A lot of people seem to be very happy with that.
Yeah.
And
The first game was good.
Personally, I really like limited runs lineup.
Oh,
they
God.
had 10 games.
No, it's more than that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I didn't count it, but the list, because they sent me an email after they did their first announcement, and it just showed like their complete lineup of games that they had in the till, and it's like, holy shit. I mean,
that was a nice surprise. I wasn't sitting in front of my computer. I actually have a day job, so I didn't watch all these things, but the limited run definitely caught my eye.
The big thing with limited run is that they must have made some awesome deal with Konami because they're re-releasing Rondo of Blood, which I own. I have the Japanese version; it's untranslated and everything for PC Engine, and fan-fucking-tastic game. Yeah, and they're putting it together with the full story. So Symphony of the Night will also come with it. But
remind me when that releases so I can order it.
Yeah. I'll order it. I'll let you know. Because they're doing that. I think it's for Switch and PS4. Okay. And then they're actually remaking or they're translating Rondo of Blood and releasing it for the TurboGrafx / PC Engine.
Ooh, that's really
so.
Which one do you get?
Probably will get both. I'm a hardcore Castlevania guy, so it's. I mean, if the packaging is top notch and has good stuff in it, I'll probably get both of them.
But I understand that, they're not by any stretch direct competition, but 8-Bit didn't do anything for E3 related, but for Summer's Game Fest they did.
Well, they did Day of the Devs.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So they had a Weezer album that I saw that was really cool. I scooped that up, so I'll bring that to the show and tell at some point, or
really
Harper's Pickups, as everyone may have seen. But we'll transition to the thing that I was most anticipated for, and I think what Schaefer was most anticipated for, just because Sony wasn't there. Yeah. And you had your other companies, but they didn't bring anything.
Well, I guess one thing to put in there too is that I was kind of excited about is they're bringing Medium, and I know Grimm's not really a big horror guy, but they're bringing Medium to PlayStation 5. Okay. So I guess Xbox only had exclusivity on it for a year, which is common actually. Sure. That's
what they did with Remake. FF7 Remake. It was only
PS5 for a while. And then, but they do it with a bunch of other stuff. But I was kind of pleased to hear that because I'll probably get a PS5 eventually. And
shoot. Do you want me to start looking for one if you need one, or no? You want me to wait?
Wait.
Okay.
Financially, I need to wait. But yeah, so I was pretty excited about that. I was like, okay, because I heard that game's actually really cool. Mm-hmm. It kind of brings back a lot of classic horror tropes. Sure. into modern day, which I was pretty pleased about. But yeah, so anyway, moving on into Nintendo.
So Nintendo was the big hitter, the one that I was really, really, really anticipating. My first statement is this: I enjoyed the Nintendo. What are they called?
Direct
a lot, as I always do. But when it came to an end, it was a little underwhelming to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, this one was a little more surprising because there was a big reveal with one of my favorite franchises of theirs that I feel like is criminally untapped.
Redheaded stepchild?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say that. I mean, it's a game that probably hasn't transitioned over well to modern day, but Metroid, Metroid was the big drop, but we'll get to that one eventually. I kind of want to talk about, like, some of the big boys. Like, of course, they let it off with Smash Brothers, which another character is getting involved, which is the guy from Tekken.
Yeah.
So anyway, they bring in the main character, the guy who ends up becoming possessed as can transform into the devil. I forget his name. Of course, I'll throw it up there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
the thing is what I was harping on that particular aspect is, to my knowledge, I think there's only one, if not two, more characters that will be released on this Game Pass.
Okay.
But the problem is after that, is it over finally, or are they going to add another one? Because the guy who does the Smash Brothers, I forget his name, and I know I'll probably annoy a lot of people.
Too many friggin' names, man.
Well, this particular guy, he like just basically puts his whole life into Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
And he needs a break at some point. He's been working on Smash for like 6 years now, or something crazy.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I want him to rest, but I also want a couple more characters. Like, we would love to see Waluigi in the game. A couple other Nintendo characters and a couple other people. I think in terms of fighters, you're missing, in terms of major fighting franchises, you're missing Mortal Kombat now.
I don't think that'll ever happen, though.
I don't think so either, but we'll see what happens.
Two total like, Nintendo's family friendly. Mortal Kombat is the polar opposite of such. So it's like, I don't see that one happening, but I could see, like, I mean, I don't know. And for me, I feel like they've hit almost every character at this point, because it's like they've put in so many characters that I could honestly give a shit about,
right.
Like from Fire Emblem and everything else like that. Yeah, I mean, Smash Bros.
It was like, another Smash character, and then you're like, okay, next.
Yeah, I was ready for the next thing. After that, I was like, all right, fine.
They showed a couple indie titles in transition to what I believe was Mario Golf.
Yes, and then which is one that I've been kind of following pretty closely. I'm really excited about that, mostly because, like, Mario Golf was always, again, the majestic beast up in the corner,
right.
Or the other mountaintop that, it was. I didn't own an N64, did not own a GameCube, and that's mostly what they were on.
Right.
And I was always a big fan of Hot Shots Golf for PlayStation.
Sure.
I actually had Hot Shots Golf 1 and 2, and I played, I think, 2 so much that the disc stopped working. But yeah, it was just one of those games that I just liked doing, and it was kind of relaxing after a day of work or school, rather. Work. Yeah, been a while. But yeah, so anyway, like, Mario Golf looks like it's something to that level where it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's deep enough to where you could, make trick shots and stuff like that if you truly wanted to. Like, the thing I think Nintendo does really well is they make games that are very easy to pick up and play, but, difficult to master if you really wanted to.
Right.
So I'm super excited. I think Grim is too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I pre-ordered it. I ordered a copy for my brother.
Yeah.
For him, and we'll be seeing it next week.
Yeah. We'll definitely throw it up. So keep an eye out for that one.
After that, we had WarioWare, which was a surprise.
Yeah.
They brought WarioWare back. There was a bit of almost a tease, because probably about 2 months ago, I think on Twitter, there was a poll. They're like, would you pay full price for a new WarioWare? And that was like a poll or something,
really?
a tweet or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that came out of left field. And you got a WarioWare game, and it looked pretty good. Some of the mini games, and they're not even mini games; they're mini instances at this point.
Yeah, essentially.
They look pretty fun, and up on that line. You got all the returning characters from all the other WarioWare titles and things of that sort. So I'm sure it'll be great, and it's Wario, so I'll instantly buy it.
I'll probably buy it. Yeah, it's always been that's another thing that I've always wanted to get because they actually did come out with WarioWare for Wii U.
Yes.
It's super rare,
Yeah.
but and highly expensive now. But you know, that was one that I missed. I didn't even realize it really came out, and just because they didn't really put a lot behind Wii U after it kind of failed. But yeah. So anyway. That's one that I was like, okay, I want to buy this. I played the Wii version way back in the day. A friend of ours used to have it, and we were he had a house party one time, and we were just kind of messing around on it. And I was like, oh my god, this is like
we just didn't play video
ADD.
games. We did drink and actually socialize. And just
yeah. Played beer pong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, that was a game that I remember just being batshit crazy and fun to laugh at and stuff like that.
Is it beer pong called like barrettes or something like that in the Ivy League schools? I think that's what
really?
one of our mutual friends taught us.
Barrettes?
Yeah.
That's funny. Not brunettes.
Well,
anyway. But yeah, so that was cool. And then after that, they did the new Mario Party. I guess it could be called the new Mario Party.
So the thing is with that is they have a Mario Party for the Switch. 5 maps, very, very limited. They just released online play, which is great. But you had more maps on other Mario Parties, and this seems so limited and so small. Now you create another Mario Party, which is not really a new Mario Party. It's
just
grabbing 5 boards from like 1, 2, or 3, and then 100 mini games and throwing it all in. And you know that none of the games that you got to do this if you play it in 64 because it'll destroy your hands and your Joy-Cons. But you know that game, like it looked exciting. I liked the upgrade on graphics, but I was a little disappointed. I'm like, you should have made it an add-on or downloadable content. Yeah, we would have paid $30-$40 for it, but come on now. You charge full price for a Mario Party game. It feels a little lacking, and that's what my opinion on that Mario Party is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of. I'll see how it does when it comes out. I've always liked Mario Party, but it's always been kind of one of those games where it's like the later ones have kind of been lacking with what the first few had.
It's like kind of like how Mario Kart is, where it's basically like, oh, you're dominating the whole way. Last 5 turns, oh, you're in third place. What?
From behind,
right? So it's a little, but after Mario Party, they led into another unexpected drop, which would have been Advance Wars 1 and 2. I think I owned Advance Wars 2. A lot of our close friends played a lot of it. I think I'll warn to pick up this so I can start fresh and try it. It's a strategy, it's RTS, I think, real-time strategy game, and should be interesting. I might be able to pick it up. I don't know. It depends on funds. Depends on what happens. But it looked like an interesting game. There's a lot of hardcore fans for it. There's definitely going to be people who are going to be buying it. And the Switch is so hot right now that whatever they make right now, it's almost like pure gold if it's a Nintendo title.
Yeah.
Like,
and honestly, I probably won't buy it. It's not that it doesn't look fun.
Yeah.
I mean, but usually with the strategy games and stuff like that, it's kind of like more of a pick up and play it for 30 minutes and stuff like that, which, as of right now with my lifestyle and stuff like that, I mean, if I'm going to sit down and play a game, I kind of want something a little more fully developed.
Some
not
immersion,
that I'm not good.
Yeah. But this led into one of the heavy hitters, which
surprised the shit out of me.
Yeah, Schaefer touched upon. It surprised me also. We were both looking for Metroid Prime 4, at least minimal clips, a title.
They did nothing.
A screenshot, a blurred out vision, Ridley for no reason. But no, they gave us Metroid 5, which is Metroid
Dread.
Dread.
And so the thing that's really interesting with this is what is it? Yoshio Sakamoto.
Okay.
He's kind of been a guy, like, some people kind of make fun of him because he's I guess he's been like, again, to use this term, not to hate against redheads here, but the redheaded stepchild of Nintendo, where he's always wanted to make another Metroid game. And Nintendo's always kind of been like, your ideas are old. Like we need new. And because basically, I watched a little thing on it where he was interviewed, and he basically said that he kept on pitching ideas to Metroid and Nintendo, and they'd just kind of be like, nah,
Mario.
we need something. We need 3D. We need 3D. 2D's not good anymore because. I don't think he really had a hand in Fusion, did he? I don't believe he did. I think that was a total, because they handed it off to a totally different studio. But yeah, so anyway, he always kind of said he always had another idea with Metroid, and he kept on pitching it, and Nintendo never bit, and apparently something happened, because now I think what happened was the Samus Return sales were fucking amazing, and they're like,
and
okay.
Also, scrapping Metroid Prime 4 one time, not developing as quickly as you wanted, you needed something. And honestly, like you said, 2D is old, but people will like it, the nostalgia. 2D is going to be way easier to develop, build, and all that in comparison to a fully 3D Metroid Prime game.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what it was. It was Other M, because he did Other M, and that was like his Nintendo gave him a chance with Other M.
It didn't sell very well.
No, because a lot of people hated the story, because it basically kind of, I mean, it was the origin story for Samus, and a lot of people hated it because Samus was like whiny, and like, where in like the later games she's so stoic and powerful, doesn't really say all that much. And whereas in that game, I guess she talked too much. I've always wanted to play it, just never got to it.
I have it, so if you need to borrow it.
Yeah. But, you know, and then people kind of complained about the controls, so that was another thing, because it was 2.5D, it was like half the time 2D, and then the other half you were actual full motion, but yeah, so anyway, Dread looks great. It sounds like he even said it in the video, it's going to be the last one in the main entry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear
so basically, it's gonna finalize, you know, Metroid, Return to Samus, and then Super Metroid, Fusion, and then this is the last of it. And basically now what it is it sounds like there's these robots called Emmys, EMMIs, which are after Samus, because if you remember from Fusion, the Metroids have fused with her armor, and so probably these Emmys are trying to
eradicate.
Well, or that they're trying to take this technology, because you know it's making her suit super powerful and stuff, which was cool, because if you look at it, she still kind of has like the
fusion.
The underneath, it looks like it's like kind of fleshy.
Yeah.
And then the white, so it looks like she's kind of turning into a Metroid. If you look at her from a distance, she has kind of like the color scheme of a Metroid now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. The game definitely took me by surprise as well. It looks very smooth, very, very interesting. You know, I played Fusion. You know, you can only get so far with Game Boy Advance type graphics. This one definitely looks spot on.
Yeah.
And it should be a fun journey.
There are no Metroids in it.
Yes.
Yeah, he put that out there. I was like, ooh, okay, ballsy.
Yeah. So that leads into the anchor that was Mario's presentation, which would have been Legend of Zelda. So this is the 35th anniversary. I personally expected a huge blowout with redone games. Like, you got Mario All-Stars collection last year for Mario's 35th. I expected something on that type of cusp, and they basically started out with, here's Hyrule Warrior, here's 2 expansions. Oh, we didn't plan anything for Zelda 35, and then Heart just explodes, drops to the ground.
Well,
like,
I mean,
sweet.
In theory, they're doing Skyward Sword Remaster, or the HD.
Yeah.
And so that's the first Zelda story.
Yeah.
Never played it, always wanted to again.
Also,
but
haven't played too much of it.
So this is definitely one I'm picking up. But just because I've always wanted to give it a shot, Zelda's always been one of those games that I've always liked it a lot. It was just, there was that period of time in Zelda's history where it was Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, that generation, kind of like the GameCube into the Wii. I don't know why, I just did not get into Zelda at that time.
Right. Well, there also was a whole bunch of DS ones, like Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass, and things of that sort.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff. I don't know why, like, for me, Zelda was never really a portable game to me. Right. Just because it's such an epic game. And, like, even when they redid Link's Awakening, never played the original. And finally did play it, and honestly, it wasn't bad, but, I just kind of felt like it was a very watered down Zelda. Right.
I got it on discount last Christmas.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just kind of made me feel like, I think I'm hoping Skyward Sword will be a lot better. I bet it will be, in my opinion.
Right.
Just because I didn't really like Link's Awakening. The art style was a little funky, which, whatever. But, yeah, anyway. And then, of course, after that, they showed, I guess, the only 25th or 35th anniversary item that they're really doing for Zelda.
Right.
Which is the Game & Watch. Which was cool.
Yeah, I like the green tone.
Yeah.
In comparison to the red from the Mario. Now that they're making multiple, I will probably go buy the Mario ones just so I can create a collection. Personally.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely getting this one.
Well, the cool part is this actually has 4 games.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's really going to play the old Game & Watch games, I guess. But, you know, it's Vermin, which is the one I think you're sucking up insects or something like that.
Yeah, or moles or some sort of...
Something like that, yeah. So, which is fine, sure. But I guess the thing that's kind of neat is they're including both the Japanese and the American versions for both games.
Okay.
Or for 1 and 2. So, and then, you know, Link's Awakening is Game Boy, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, so they're going to do that, which I find interesting because it would be interesting to see if they do the Famicom Disk System version, because there was actually more music in the disc version, and it was different, which people actually say is better. I've always wanted to get it, just never really have, just because I own a disc drive. But, you know, I'd be interested to see if that actually eventually comes to light. I'm waiting to pre-order it because I'm just kind of like, I want to get a little more info, and honestly, I checked this morning and Amazon was already sold out at all their pre-orders.
Yeah, I'll get into pre-orders in a second, but definitely it's going to be interesting. Definitely probably going to scoop up both of them, just to have a set and say I own them. He already said he's going to grab it, and that kind of leads toward the end of the showcase where they're like, hey, so you remember the game, Breath of the Wild? Well, we talked about a second one 2 years ago. Here's some stuff for it. So they did a nice, 4-minute video of some gameplay.
Was it 4? I don't even know if it was that
I
long.
was constantly watching the time, and I was like, there needs to be one more big title. There needs to be one more big title. And it's not like, because I knew they were going to anchor with Zelda.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, there's not a big title. I'm so disappointed because honestly I wanted either another Mario Kart, a new Donkey Kong Country, or an announcement for the new Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Which... I mean, I don't know. I've heard rumblings that there's like manufacturing stuff with it. I didn't really expect that they were gonna do the Pro, because it sounds like they're actually still working on it and they're trying to iron out a lot with it still.
It's just weird that they've had they've had reservations in I think there was a Mexico Amazon that actually had a reservation for new Nintendo Switch.
Oh really?
And stuff like that. So I think they've talked enough about it that it's going to come to fruition. It's probably not going to get announced till probably Christmas time.
Yeah, probably. And I would imagine it's probably not going to come out for a while anyway.
Probably next March before the fiscal year ends.
I even wonder, because the Switch has been out for 6 years, didn't they say?
I think it's 5 or 6, something like that.
And so it's like, you know, the thing to me, I almost feel like it's like, why not just wait and just make a
because you need to capitalize on all the sales of Nintendo Switches you had last year. You sold so many systems.
That's what I mean, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, are you saying make a whole new system, or?
Well, just because, I mean, this past COVID year, that I'll call it, they sold more Nintendo Switches, like, it was crazy. They couldn't keep it in stock.
Right.
And so, I wonder, it's like the Wii U and the Wii thing.
Yeah.
They sold so many fucking Wiis. And then, you know, they're going to come out with the Pro, and it's like, would it really matter? Because people are already going to own the original.
So what's going to happen is yes, they're 5 years into a cycle or 6 years, and that's, back in the old days, you'd already hear rumblings of a new system, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is with this now, their intention probably is they want to be the #1 selling system ever, which I think PlayStation 2 may have it or something like that. I don't know the order, but they're getting close to DS levels and stuff like that, or 3DS levels and stuff like that. So making a whole new system, not very sensible. Making it a Pro and then phasing out the docked DS for the Pro or the Lite makes sense, because, and also if you have all this backstock, let's say that you had all these orders, realized it was, people were buying the crap out of it, and now you have all this extra equipment that you can't put in, like the screens or whatever displays that are in the old system. Build those systems, slap a new cover on it, because there's people who collect different Switches, sell all that out, bring in this new system, have all these sales. That's probably what they're going to go for. And in the cycle, you can last a little bit longer, especially if you make the Pro. Instead of a 5-year cycle, you can probably inch it toward the 8 or 9-year cycle.
Oh, easily.
And then put in more games out there. And unfortunately, as bad as it sounds, and we're suckers for it, they reshell games that are on the Wii U, on the Wii. We'll buy most of them.
I mean, for the most part. Like, I mean, what was it? I mean, a lot of the games that I'm buying now, though, I will admit, are the ones that I didn't buy on the previous console.
No, for sure.
And so it's like, the only one that's a potential bogey, and the only reason why I haven't bought it is because was Mario 3D World with Bowser's Fury.
Yeah.
And just because you bought it and we're doing a playthrough for the channel, regardless if you guys watch it. But
20 view minimum.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, the funny thing is like we, like that was the one I would have probably bought, but realistically, the rest of them I've never owned in a previous console.
Sure.
So it's kind of nice because it's like, oh, okay.
I mean, and as you saw, all the Wii U titles are stupid expensive right now anyways. GameCube titles and some Wii titles are super expensive. So it's a nice transition.
Yeah.
You have that availability. But back to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh, yeah.
The video was good. It was interesting. It should be an entertaining game. It's not coming out till next year.
Didn't really give us much outside of the fact that there's going to be floating lands now. It looks like Ganon lifted the castle, Zelda's castle. So there's a lot of people that are saying that they're seeing a lot of similarities between Skyward Sword and this game. Again, never played Skyward Sword, so I can't say. But I'm super stoked on it. Breath of the Wild was fucking amazing in my opinion.
Yeah.
The amount she's shedding like a beast right now. I was gonna say an animal, but it made no sense. Redundant, I suppose.
Right.
But anyway, so that was the one game that I owned, and at the time I lived out west, and I actually had a few friends that worked with video game journalistic places, pretty high up, and like I remember talking to them all, and it was like, that is the one game where it's like, okay, I'm going to do this today, and on your way to do what you were doing, you would like come across so many other things happening, and it was just like, oh fuck, I'm going to go do this. 3 hours go by, and you're like, oh my god.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I didn't do the thing I set myself to do. But, it was just so fun, a game you could totally lose yourself in. I hope that they do bring back the dungeons. That was kind of one thing that when I finally beat the game, I was kind of like, I wish those were back.
Sure.
Because it was more puzzly than previous entries. I just kind of wish, because when you would finally get onto the not legendary, what were the Ancient Beasts? Is that what it was? Ancient Beasts, I think is what it was. No.
Common theme, I may buy games, I don't beat them.
Yeah, he doesn't play them all the way through. No, but yeah, so that was
one. You'd be disappointed if you don't know the ending. Sorry.
So...
so that game should be very interesting for Legend of Zelda. It also showed that I think Link's right arm is either like metallic or wood or some. It's a replacement arm if you look closely.
Oh really?
Yes.
I thought it was a gauntlet.
Could be. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
But beyond that, a couple little things that I noted beyond that, just because I'm just kind of wrapping my brain back around. They showed. I don't know if it was Death Stranding 2 or a remaster. They showed the trailer.
Oh, yeah, it's basically a remaster for PlayStation 5.
Yeah, and then there was this whole box scene that confused me for a long time where the character, the Norman Reedus character, grabs a box off the shelf, puts it down, looks at it, gets into the box. And
that's like Metal Gear Solid.
Right, because it's Kojima. And then, all the other stuff. I kind of mentioned they put a lot of time and effort into the Guardians of the Galaxy game by Square Enix. I think that was the one interesting spot.
Oh yeah, a lot of people freaked out about that because now they're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Other mentions was there's Avatar, the James Cameron.
Oh yeah.
There's a game for the Avatar. Right. And then they also mentioned Psychonauts 2, which a lot of
Does
people...
anybody care about Avatar outside of China? Seriously. I don't think so. I don't.
I mean,
Literally, they're making 5 movies of it. 4 have been in development hell for what, a decade now?
Yeah, I mean, like literally, when I heard from a friend that Avatar is essentially Pocahontas with aliens, I'm just like, oh my god, it is.
No, it's Dancing with Wolves with aliens. Yep.
So,
Yeah, because like when I saw it, it was funny because I saw it in IMAX when it came out because the hype was real.
Visually, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I watched it 3D IMAX the first time I saw it, which at the time it was horrible. Just because anything that was 3D popping out and that was close to your face and it was moving, it was blur,
right.
And you couldn't see it. And like, that was one big thing that I was kind of like, yeah. And then the story was, yeah. I was like, I left the movie theater and I saw it with my family, the extended family on my mom's side. We walked out. And I looked my uncle in the eye, and I was like, that was Dances with Wolves storyline, wasn't it? And he's like, 100%.
So, but yeah, I mean, we now know what we're going to deal with the rest of this calendar year and a little bit of next year. As gamers, we always want more, but it did well in terms of a first large E3 since the pandemic. You'll see probably like 20% of the games that we mentioned on this channel. And
easily. I mean, I would submit most of the shit that we mentioned from Nintendo we'll probably do something on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's our little analysis on E3. Nintendo did good, underwhelming at times. Xbox,
E3's always like this. Every year, everybody's like, "Oh fuck yeah, E3," and then E3 happens, and everybody always kind of leaves like, "Ah," and it's like, yeah, it's E3, people. Like it's. I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of going the way. There's a lot of people saying, is it going to be around much longer? Probably not.
I mean, Nintendo has done the platform with Directs that completely phases out the money that they need to drop for an E3. Will they still do it for the time being? Yeah, I can see them doing it, but the cost is so much less that, and the amphitheaters, the giving free gifts, the this and that. But
I don't think you need the hype anymore. I think the market and all the avenues of the video game websites and stuff like that. And YouTube.
Yeah, and streaming and everything like that. So.
No, thanks.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that, and so that's our little analysis on E3. We'll be back with more games and other conventions as they come along. So
yeah.
See ya. Like, subscribe. We'll see you soon. Peace out.
Later, guys.